Good morning. We are here for a little trek into gluten-free bread. Make white sandwich bread. This is one of my favorite cookbooks, 100 Best Gluten-Free gluten-free recipes. I have not used it in a long time because I don't enjoy cooking, but I'm having to force myself out of my comfort zone, and as much as I don't enjoy cooking, I don't have a choice in the matter at this point. So if I want to be able to eat more than like one thing over and 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 over, I'm going to have to get back into the kitchen and get back into cooking. So taking you guys along for the ride. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this while I readjust the camera into a downward position so you can kind of see what I'm doing instead of looking at me. But thanks for tuning in again today. 2 and 2. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start getting our yeast proofed. So this is warm water. You're going to want it as close to 110 degrees as you can get. You don't want it too cold. You don't want it under 110 because it won't activate the yeast. And you don't want it too high, too far above 110 because then it'll kill the yeast. So as close to 110 as possible. And I did take the temperature of that before I started recording. To that warm water, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Just going to go ahead and use my measuring spoons here to stir. Get that dissolving. And the reason you want to do this first is because you want this to sit for about 5 minutes. So while this is proofing, you work on getting the other stuff put into your mixer. Get my yeast open. Oh my goodness. There it goes. Whew. You can use jarred yeast like I do, or the packet, the pre-measured packet. Either way, you're measuring out 2 1/4 teaspoons of dry yeast. If you're using the packets, it's just a single packet. If you're measuring it, it's 2 1/4 teaspoons. So 1, 2 1/4. This is a brand new thing of yeast. I think that's why I was having so much trouble opening it. Oh. Which sucks because I already have one open. Alrighty then. Just gonna give this a stir. We're going to set this off to the side to let that proof. And basically, you know, you're letting it foam up is what you're wanting to do. I'm going to prepare my pan so I can set this stuff aside. So I have nonstick olive oil. My Ninja Foodie pan is supposed to be nonstick anyway, but you know, When it comes to stuff like this, you definitely don't want to take the chance of it getting stuck because the flours needed for gluten-free baking is really expensive. This is not the flour that I'm looking for. This rice flour, and you're just putting some in there to dust it. Dust the, whoop. That's way more than I needed, but so roll it around in the pan, get the bottom, sides, banging off the extra into the sink. My shark has promptly gotten itself lost somewhere. Ariel, where did the vacuum cleaner get stuck? All right, off on a little side trip there. My vacuum ran something over. I got it all stuck. Wash my hands up real quick. Okay, so to the bowl, you're going to add 3 egg whites at room temperature. And don't roll off the counter. I don't know if I still have an egg separator. Which if I do, it'll make my life nicer, but not vital, which I do. Egg separator. So you crack, if you've never seen one of these, you crack the egg in here, the yolk sits in the center, the whites at the bottom. My alarm's going off. Let me put this on after the fact. Come on. Because that was what I was afraid of, was that cracking it with the blender piece on there, I was going to end up with eggshells in there, which I did. So, make sure you guys are still in frame here. Okay, so I've cracked the egg. into the separator. Give it a jiggle. Tip it to one side. You're gonna, the whites will fall out. I did not get myself a container for the yolks. That one separated nice and easy. And oh, lesson. Don't crack your eggs over your measuring bowl for that reason. Now I'm going to try to get the yolks out of there. My baker friends are probably like cringing, having watched me just do that. And I know better. Fortunately, I was able to get the yolks out. Yay! You don't want the yolk in there because it interferes with the next step, which is getting the egg whites. Kind of need the blender part, don't I? That is the wrong paddle. No, it's not. I need the beater. I need the beater first. Up, slide it over. Come on. Just need you to cooperate. Okay. I'm gonna lift this up. Nice and foamy. Change this out. Switch over to my dough beater. Okay. To this, we're going to add 2 cups of potato starch or gluten-free all-purpose flour. Now, if you Google, potato starch can be replaced with cornstarch. There's all kinds of replacements for potato flour. Without going back to a health food store, I couldn't find potato flour, so I am using Bob's Red Mill all-purpose 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour. If I use the spoon as a spoon instead of a trowel, like trying to scoop with the wrong side of the spoon, like that's not going to work. Leveling this off. So 2 cups of flour, rice flour, tapioca flour, all-purpose, whatever. The key to this is make sure you are using a gluten-free flour. 1 cup of this sorghum blend. Hey, how did my measuring spoon get off the ring? So this sorghum blend is sorghum flour, cornstarch, and tapioca flour. Put my spoon back on there. Never had that happen before. Maybe I'll get it back on there today. My goodness, it should not have been that difficult. One or 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. Again, I bought the expensive Bob's Red Mill because I was over the shopping experience and ready to be home. So I didn't shop around. I know that next time, I know that Walmart has their own brand, much, much cheaper. And a teaspoon of guar gum, which I did not find at Walmart. But Highland Health Foods had it in bulk bags, which again, I know for next time. Checked into the robot for an obstruction. My vacuum cleaner is stuck again. Teaspoon of salt. Quarter cup of melted butter, or softened butter, I should say. That's a third. Where's the quarter? Just a quarter. Now I could, if I knew this was like a standard stick of butter, I would know kind of where to cut it, but it's a long and skinny one, so, and it's already out of its package. I don't exactly know where the quarter cup is on it. So we're just going to measure it out. Unsalted butter. Okay. 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Woo-hoo, my yeast is like foaming over. I have apple cider vinegar by the gallons. My husband brought home 2 huge containers, so I think I have 7 more gallons of apple cider vinegar. And the yeast mix, which you can see is very foamed. I'm going to start that on, whoops, probably raise the bowl up, huh? And start it on low because you are working with flours. If you immediately went to high, you'd get a poof. Apparently that didn't lock in place. Let's get the sides of the bowl going here. Want to mix it until everything is combined. So I'm doing one more scrape down of the sides of the bowl. Got some apple cider vinegar down there. Move this off the counter. Oof. Expose all the gunk from underneath. Bring my foodie forward here. Because yes, I am going to be baking in my foodie today. You see how dirty it is from all the cooking I've been doing. I am a messy cook. I will never, ever, 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 ever claim to be otherwise. You can add the dough into your bread pan. Get it spread out a little bit. Now, if I wanted the top to be nice and pretty, get a wet spatula. Smooth it out. Do I care if the top of my bread is pretty? No. Not particularly. As long as it tastes good, I don't care what it looks like. I mean, that's the case with all of my food. I don't eat with my eyes. I eat with my tongue. I eat with my mouth. So even if it looks gross, I'll probably still taste it if I feel like it's something that I may potentially like. I mean, if I know the ingredients and I'm like, yeah, no way. I'm not even gonna bother. Like squid. Nope. I don't care how it's prepared. Spray the top with cooking spray. And with a knife, which all I have is my butter knife. Hopefully it works. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do this after it's risen. So, for that, get some aluminum foil. All right, we are back for an ever so brief little moment. So I'm going to be cooking this in my foodie with the bake roast option. It should cook faster than it would in an oven, simply because it's a more condensed space to hold all of that heat. So I've got it preheating 375 degrees. Got like 15 seconds left on the preheat. And then we will set it to bake. Pause the video again, and then we'll come back when it's all finished. I do need to cut some slits in the top. And that's just to help release some pressure as it bakes. So just 3 little slits. Nothing major. You heard that kick off. Stick the pan in there. Bake, roast, 375. I'm going to set this for 30 minutes. I will also set the timer on my phone. Come back, check the temperature. So you want it to cook until it's 205 degrees internally. And then once it reaches that 205 degrees, then remove it from the pan, or take it out, let it cool for 10-15 minutes in the pan. That helps it unstick from the edges. And then remove it from the pan and then let it cool completely before trying to slice it. So stay tuned, and we will be back in 30 minutes to an hour. I will be back 30 minutes to an hour when the bread is done. And yeah, stay tuned.